pick belongs to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Ever since I was little, that was one of my goals, to go to the NBA, be number one pick.
Made it out of the trenches, salute when you see me. Yeah, salute when you see me. They gotta put my face on the box of Wheaties. I'm praying for whoever think they competing. Salute when you see me.
I smile every time I think about it. Just everything I've been working for.
So high that you might as well leave it. I'm going undefeated. I've broken the system and had to breach it. That's mission impossible, mission completed. Salute when you see me.
Just getting drafted, it's like you've worked so hard for this one dream that you're trying to chase, and then you finally get to it.
With the first pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select.
This is SportsCenter with Sage Steele and Kevin Nagandi.
I honestly cannot imagine how these 60 young men feel waiting to hear their names called tonight. We are 30 minutes away from the NBA draft, tipping off right here on ESPN. We'll count you down until we get to that moment, Kevin. But a lot of news already.
Yeah, last hour we had breaking news with the Sixers making the trade and moving Al Horford to the Thunder. And that trade, of course, collecting assets. Meanwhile, the Thunder doing that. And we've got more news coming in. According to Woj, Klay Thompson suffered a right leg injury working out in Southern California today and will undergo tests. The severity of the injury is not known. Thompson had been making his way back from an ACL tear in his left leg that he suffered in the 2019 finals and cost him all of last season. Let's bring in Adrian Wojnarowski with much more on this story. What more can you tell us, Woj, about this injury?
Kevin, Klay Thompson was working out in Southern California today when he suffered what was described to me as a lower right leg injury, and he's going to undergo tests here the next few days, I'm told. It is immediately unclear the severity of the injury. Now, it was his left ACL that he missed all of the 2019 and 2020 season, the injury he had suffered in the previous NBA Finals. But right now, they're still waiting to get a sense of how serious this injury might be, Kevin.
Well, it's the big story. Of course, the Timberwolves are on the clock in a draft that is really unknown in the top three. The Warriors pick number 2. How could this injury impact what the Warriors do tonight?
I think it's too early to tell, Kevin. They don't know what they have, certainly with this injury with Klay Thompson, but certainly understand when you're drafting a teenager at the top of the draft, it's a long view, not based off an injury in the short term. But listen, if they're very serious about LaMelo Ball at 2, if he's there, James Wiseman, they were still working through those today. So remains to be seen how it's going to impact them tonight in the draft.
Okay, Woj, from the draft room as we get ready for the NBA virtual draft right here on the campus at ESPN. Let's go to Sage.
Again, Woj keeping track of breaking news from all different angles here with us on SportsCenter. He's standing by if need be. Also standing by now live is our Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A., less than an hour ago, you and I were here on SportsCenter talking about what the Warriors should do with that number 2 overall pick. We're talking about the big man, James Wiseman, and how great of a fit he'd be with a healthy Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. As Woj said, you heard him, we don't know that much right now, but your first reaction when you hear an injury to a leg of Klay Thompson, what do you say?
This is nightmarish.
Yeah.
This is nightmarish. All championship hopes are out the window. You need both. You can't have Klay without Steph. You can't have Steph without Klay and talk championship. You can talk playoffs. You can talk excitement. You can talk box office appeal. But you can't talk championship having one without the other. You need both of them. This is the greatest shooting backcourt we have ever seen in the history of basketball. Do you know that Klay Thompson has never shot less than 40% from three-point range in his career? Ever! That's who we're talking about here. We constantly talk about the 2-time MVP that is Steph Curry. We constantly recognize him because he can shoot off the dribble, not just standing still with a setup shot. It's off the dribble. He can create his own shot better than Klay Thompson. We constantly call him the greatest shooter ever. Let's understand something. His backcourt make Klay Thompson is one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball. I don't care what anybody says. Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Allen Houston, downtown Freddie Brown from the Seattle Supersonics in the 70s, for crying out loud. Ricky Pierce, Dale Ellis, Del Curry. I don't give a damn what shooter you find. Klay Thompson is one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball. And for this man to keep coming off an ACL injury on his left leg, to now maybe have injured his right leg,
I know.
I'm very worried. I'm hoping out hope, but I'm very worried because I'm a fan of watching these brothers play, and I don't want to see either of them hurt. I don't want to see either of them gone, and I'm very worried right now. Period.
Absolutely. That's why you use the word nightmarish. And of course, even if you're not a Warriors fan, just watching the product that they've produced for so many years there together, that says it all. We do need to continue to point out, yes, it was that left leg on which he tore that ACL in the finals in 2019. I forget what year it is, 2019. The injury that we're reporting now, that Woj is reporting, is lower right leg. Either way, it doesn't sound like great news.
Still a leg injury.
It's still a leg injury. And then you wonder, because potential overcompensation as you're trying to heal that ACL. In the meantime, the Warriors have to focus on that. They still have to focus on the draft, too, right, Stephen A? They have business to do at number 2 tonight, but obviously this is in the back of their minds.
No, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything with the draft, Sage. You still take James Wiseman. You still take the 7-footer who's an athlete who can rebound, who can run the floor, who's a presence at the basket to pair with Draymond Hill, because you got Andrew Wiggins. And because you still have Wiggins, who Joe Lacob, the owner, the CEO for the Golden State Warriors, came on First Take, told me this morning he's still high on. I don't know why, considering the inconsistency of Wiggins, but that's neither here nor there. I'll be nice tonight. We'll talk about that another day. Bottom line, if anything happens to Clay, you still need another guard or a guard / small forward to put in the backcourt that can guard some threes as well as some twos to play alongside Steph Curry. They'd be a playoff team. They'd make some noise. We have no questions about that. But in terms of championship, because before this past season, 5 straight years they went to the finals. Yep. In terms of championship, there is no championship without Clay. There is no championship without Steph. You need both or no championship. It's just that simple.
So right now it's a wait and see. And once again, at the end of Woj's interview with Kevin, you saw the phone ring again. And if there is any news, we will bring it to you right here on SportsCenter as far as the complexity of the injury to the right lower leg of Klay Thompson. In the meantime, we'll wait for that. And Stephen A., when you look at the top couple of prospects in tonight's draft, who should be taken number 1 overall?
I'm going to say Anthony Edwards. I'm going to say Anthony Edwards because Dwayne Wade has given him his vote of approval, and damn it, that's good enough for me. D. Wade has looked at this brother. He said he's 6'5". He's got an NBA body at 225, 230. He averaged 19 points a game. Needs to improve his shooting from the field and from three-point range, because he only shot like 29% from three-point range. But everybody talks about his upside, the athleticism, etc., etc. Halliburton, a lot of people like that guy and his upside. Jay Billis says he's undervalued. I hope he stays undervalued so he'll fall at number 8 to my New York Knicks. But again, that's neither here nor there. I like Anthony Edwards. I think he's got that kind of game. Definitely Minnesota needs him because you got Karl Anthony Towns. You don't necessarily need another big man in today's game the way it's played. You need guard play. And D'Angelo Russell, with an Anthony Edwards, seems to be a really good and impressive backcourt. You go that route, you let Wiseman fall at number 2, you hope and pray that Halliburton falls to number 8. That's the way I view it.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are the ones on the clock, and 20 minutes from now, right here, again, the 2020 draft, right here on ESPN. Stephen A., thank you. And again, for all those of you at home, as well as you, Stephen A., we'll keep you up to date as soon as we have any further information on the injury to Klay Thompson. Yes.
Tell Adrian Wojnarowski to stop being the Grim Reaper. It ain't even 7:30 yet. He already giving us bad news. Can he wait a little bit?
Did you see him when he answered the phone? He's like,
already giving us bad news.
I know. And he has 2 or 3 Chargers with him tonight to make sure and continue to be the Grim Reaper if necessary. Stephen A., thank you.
What he does with the Woj bombs inside 30 minutes until the NBA draft begins on ESPN. Our experts are standing by to answer the last-minute questions surrounding tonight's top 3 projected picks. And one of those guys, and we just talked about him, that is James Wiseman, 7'1" star from Memphis, projected to go number 2 to the Warriors. Think about this. Just in 2019, he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. He is ready to go. You see the numbers, just nearly 20 points and over 10 rebounds in 3 college games. So much potential with the big man. Much more ahead here as we get you ready for our countdown to the draft. It's almost here. The draft, as we count down, let's take a look at the players who are going to come off the board early. Georgia's Anthony Edwards, how about a -240 favorite to be the first overall pick for the Timberwolves? Yesterday, he was the second favorite behind LaMelo Ball. The second pick of the mock draft, James Wiseman. Big man played just 3 games in Memphis, averaging nearly 20 points and over 10 rebounds per game, shooting 77% before being suspended with the Tigers. LaMelo Ball didn't play any college basketball. Instead, he went to Australia last season. Last action in the U.S. came in the spring of 2019 when he played for the Spire Institute in Ohio. And Naismith Wooden and AP National Player of the Year, Dayton's Obi Toppin. He's a flyer. He's also expected to hear his name called early. He averaged 20 points and 7.5 rebounds per game last season, taking all the honors, rolling with Dayton.
Malika Andrews will be part of tonight's NBA draft broadcast, joining us now on SportsCenter. And Malika, I know you actually talked to the young man projected to go number 2 overall to the Golden State Warriors, James Wiseman. What did he tell you? What stood out to you from that conversation?
Well, a lot of folks around the NBA think that he might be a guy who can be one of those who can make an impact immediately, who can come in and immediately help a team win. But when I was talking to him yesterday, he said that his versatility is really what he wants to focus on coming into the NBA. He said he's watched a whole lot of film of Anthony Davis, of Kevin Garnett, how they stretch the floor, how they block shots, and that is what he is hoping to emulate in the NBA. Although he can put down some flashy dunks, there you go, you see the blocks he's capable of. That is what he's hoping to showcase, and he says that he's just going to be happy wherever he gets drafted. He just wants to, after everything he's been through, finally play in the NBA.
Yeah, that's the thing. All of us fans didn't get to see nearly enough of James Wiseman this past year for sure. And for James and everybody, it's such a different draft, Malika. They're not going to be walking across